Shameless. United. In the Europa League, Europa League. We tell them one time and we say Europa League. Europa.
Manchester United 4, Real Betis 1. Guys, we needed a comeback, right? And I'm not saying that players are off the hook, because they're not. Because the nonsense we saw against Liverpool on Sunday, it won't be forgotten. That will be written in history, right? 7-0 win in Ten Hag's first season. Extremely poor. Poor is an understatement, really. But look, today's performance, good performance, great performance. I thought we were very comfortable. You know, Betis, in their league, they're fifth at the moment. They had conceded 9 goals in the last 4 games, which, for me, straight away, they concede goals. Yes, they're fifth in the league. They're doing pretty well. They won their last 3 out of 5 games. But it was shown today. Their defense was shaky. But even us, I don't think we were at our best. I think a couple players could have been a bit better. The distribution from De Gea was scary at times. Antony today. We need to talk about Antony because Antony's one of these players who's constantly talked about. 100 mil, there's always that price tag on him. Similar to Maguire, similar to Sancho. They're constantly going to be talked about as a waste of money. Look, Antony's incredibly young. Today's game, what did I see? A bit more directness. He was pretty good from the left, which we don't really see that often from him. Yes, he interchanges from left and right wing, but today we saw it a bit more often from the left. Good crosses into the box. Weghorst got set up where he should have scored a goal. But Antony was pretty good today. Good passing. I do think he slows down a progression just a little bit, that little ball roll, especially in transition. In transition, you want your winger to be direct, quick, pacey, and linking up the play quick. That's what you want. A lot of the time in transition, he slows the ball down and he doesn't even look for the overlap a lot of the time. And I think that's a problem. But again, he scores a magnificent goal today. Top bins just outside the box. And he's got that in his locker, but even then, it's not incredibly consistent. So I want to see more consistent from that part of his game. A player like Ian Robin, who, when he cut in and he shot, he was deadly. And I think Antony can become that player. However, little parts of his game, I want to see a bit more physicality in his game. I want to see him look for the overlap a bit more from the fullback. And I just want to see him do the simple stuff a bit more, the cleaner stuff a bit more. A lot of the time he's dribbling, carrying the ball a bit too much, then he loses possession. He's young, he'll become better. Bruno Fernandes. Bruno Fernandes today was beautiful, guys. Bruno Fernandes today, yes, he gets a yellow card, leaves his leg hanging a bit on that foul on the goalie, on Bravo. But today, all-round brilliant performance. Man of the match performance for me, for Bruno. And great passing, great vision, good header. Bruno was magnificent today for me. Yes, at times, looking, he could take a bit too long on the ball and, you know, there's these silly antics at times from Bruno. But for me, today, Bruno was brilliant. 2 assists, 1 goal, great performance. And about Weghorst, I think we need to appreciate him just a little bit more. Someone who, for me, quite clearly, yes, he's got the physicality to be a number 9, but he doesn't have the skill level to be a number 9. The positioning is not there. He's not particularly good in the air either. I mean, it's a bit frustrating at times. I want to see him be a bit more effective in the air, considering he's 6'7" or whatever. But quite clearly, I think there's a struggle in terms of mobility there. There's a struggle because he's a big player and quite clearly can't handle his own weight at times. The timing of his jumping is a bit weird at times. It's weird. It's almost off tempo, really, the way he jumps at times. And I think that could be an issue because of his mobility and that he's such a big player. But apart from that, look, he's pretty much magnificent at what you expect from a midfield player. Great link up, holds up the ball pretty well. He can create somewhat, not particularly the best creative player. I mean, he's a number 9 really in that position. But he's got the traits of a number 10 almost, or a box-to-box player. His defensive work is fantastic, drops back, and you have to appreciate his work ethic, and you see the emotion today. You see that emotion pouring through, and you've got to admire him. You've got to admire him because he's putting a lot of effort into this team. He's playing basically every single game, and this is why he suits the system. He allows other players in the game to get involved. Antony, Rashford. And it's not predictable because we're not putting constant crosses into the box, which I want to see a bit more from. But even then, if we're putting too many crosses into the box, it becomes too predictable. And Weghorst at this point has become a lot more like a like almost like a number 10, really, in certain situations. Bruno, again today, getting involved in that deep line playmaking role a lot of the time, dropping deeper than Casemiro at times. And I think what Ten Hag wanted is just a bit more freedom in midfield. Let players, especially like Bruno, get involved in the deeper part of the game, get the ball, build it up. And especially a team like Real Betis, who quite clearly wanted to press from the very first minute. But we played out of their press pretty easily, to be honest. Yes, sometimes in the first half, it takes us a bit of time to get into the game. And look, you could see today, after 4 goals, we wanted more. It could have been 7. It could have been 7. Weghorst had a few opportunities. Anthony, the little chip just over the bar. There are some opportunities there where you think it could have been 7. You could see it. These plays were ruthless today. So you've got to be proud of the team. Again, they're not off the hook. Consistency, that's what we want. But I think there is a little bit of there's definitely a conversation that we need to have in terms of fitness, rotation. I do think Ten Hag wants to keep the team somewhat consistent. You can see our right back, Wan-Bissaka, and Delo are constantly interchanging, and I think that's because the right back position. A lot of people in the chat were saying Wan-Bissaka is the right back they want, but we can't forget what Delo done earlier on in the season. He was magnificent pre-injury, pre-World Cup. And Wan-Bissaka was pretty poor in the games he played. So you can see what Ten Hag has done to this team. He's changed players. I want to see a bit more consistency from Delo and Wan-Bissaka. They both shine in different parts of their game. So that's going to be interesting to see that battle at right back. Malacia comes on today. Fantastic. I mean, the aggression. And again, Luke Shaw today wasn't bad, but I think what Luke Shaw needs to stop doing is inviting the opposition winger into the box too much. He brings them into the box, and then what? And then what? A pass, and it's a goal. A lot of the time that's happened this season where, look, that's not what the goal was today, but it's very easy to just slip in the ball into the opposition striker, and that's it. Luke Shaw is inviting them too much into our box, and Malacia doesn't really do that. He stands right there, 1v1s, he's magnificent, aggressive, and he doesn't allow them to pressure him too much into his own box, which I love about Malacia. So Luke Shaw, I would just say that. But guys, overall, great performance. Great performance. Casemiro, boy, Casemiro today, the passing, the vision. This guy, I keep saying it, he's not just a defensive midfielder. Champions League winner. He can be a creative player. You can play him in a number 10 position and he would probably still be just as good as Bruno. I'm telling you, he's that level of a midfielder. He's that good, creative. The vision was phenomenal, aggressive, protects our back four. De Gea, look, apart from the distribution, he didn't really have that much to do. Real Betis didn't create any clear-cut opportunities today. So look, for me, great all-round performance. Bruno Fernandes, my man of the match. Casemiro, great. Martinez, playing out of the defence with composure. 3-man pressing on him. Plays out of the pressure very easily. He had a tough night against Liverpool. He had a great night against Real Betis.